Hi everyone, my name is Maria and welcome back to my channel. This video I've been putting off for a very long time. I keep meaning to make this video and I've decided that I'm finally going to do it. It's actually a very personal video to me and it means a lot and it's very vulnerable. So I really hope that I get something out of it and it helps somebody who is in a similar situation to me. So in this video I'm going to be talking about my grief journey and what it's been like the last 2 years after I lost my mum. To start from the beginning, it was recently my mum's 2nd year death anniversary. She passed away on the 28th of July 2023 from lung cancer. She died in the hospital. It was a very difficult day, as you can imagine. It happened so suddenly that I really didn't have time to really process what was going on at the time, and I was completely disconnected, switched off. I didn't really know what was going on. I was kind of just on autopilot, going through the motions. So she had lung cancer for 4 years, which was a very long time. It was very difficult in itself, like the 4 years. I was looking after her as an only child. I was the only one who was looking after her. Like, that was my life for 4 years. And it was very traumatic. One day she didn't feel very well. She couldn't breathe properly. So measured her oxygen levels quite low. So I took her to the garden and then it became clear that she needed to go to the hospital. So she ended up going to the hospital. They gave her oxygen. She was much better. She was meant to go home. There was a lot of miscommunication with the doctors. I wasn't being fed the right information and I was very confused with what was happening. So one day they were saying that she could go home. The next day they kept her in to monitor her levels. She was doing much better, but at the same time I really wasn't know. I was just kind of going to visit her and then just finding out what the situation was like on the day. She didn't even know. So it was all just very uncertain. So I went to visit her in the hospital. Initially she was kept in the emergency ward. Then they moved her to the this pleural ward where they had it was with the lungs. As the days progressed, she couldn't breathe as well as she was, so she was more reliant on the oxygen. One day the doctor came up to me and was like, she only has a week left. And I was like, what do you mean? I was so completely shocked by it, I just didn't really know. 2 days before they were saying that she was fine, and here they're telling me that she's not. So as you can imagine, it was a real shock. I was like, okay, well, I have no time to waste. I just want to make the most of the time that I've got left with her. So she really deteriorated really fast. Then they called me because I went home. I went to sleep. I was exhausted. I spent the whole day in the hospital. So I went to sleep. I was actually I didn't know what to do. I was thinking, should I stay with her? Shall I go back home and sleep? And the hospital is 5 minutes away. So I arranged with the doctors that they would call me if something were to change. So I went to sleep. They called me on Friday morning. So immediately I jumped into the Uber. I went to see her, and then about an hour and a half later, 2 hours later, she had died. It was a very peaceful death. I prepared myself and prepared myself mentally for this to happen in the last 2 days. It was very calm and she just stopped breathing. Very different to what I imagined it would be in real life. You watch movies on TV and you see death in real life and it's so different. And I didn't want her to be in pain. I didn't want to traumatize myself. For her as well, it was she didn't want to go without being in pain. And that's what she got. So it happened in the best way possible. It was just all so sudden and soon. I wish I could have stayed with her and spoken to her and you know, had those last moments with her. Had I known if she was alive, I think it would have been more difficult to say goodbye. Then I went home and I was completely like, I had like my soul had left my body. I just sort of pretended it didn't happen. I was going about my day and I didn't cry much. I was so numb. I was just like, okay, well, now I have to focus on the funeral planning. And because it's just me, I had to do everything myself. So immediately I had something to focus on. So I was focusing on making it the best funeral ever, you know, the best funeral possible, you know, planning everything. So my mind just went to that, which was good. So it was like a distraction, and I could like really, I had the sort of adrenaline to keep going. It was so stressful, but in a way I really wanted to make her proud. I wanted it to be a really nice, good funeral, and I'm really proud of the work that I put in to make that happen. That lasted about 2 weeks. I got lots of support wishes. People were offering their sympathies. I got lots of cards and flowers and things like that. But at the same time, I really didn't believe that it was real. Like I thought I was living someone else's life, and especially at the funeral as well. It's like other people were crying. I made a speech. I just felt like it was not my own life. I was like living someone else's life. Like it felt like I was in a nightmare. Like I had woken up. It wasn't real. It wasn't my reality. It was in a nightmare I didn't want to be in and part of. People gradually stopped calling, checking in. So I was really left alone to be with the reality of it. For the first 3 months, it took a while to get out of the shock phase. So it was about 3 months, I think, 3 months in, that I was like completely, I didn't know what I was doing. I was waking up, I was making so many mistakes, I was putting things in the wrong places. I was awake, but I was like a zombie. I was like dead inside. And I didn't want to leave the house. I couldn't work. I didn't know where I was. I was trying to understand and process the whole thing. I read lots of books, lots of grief books. I joined lots of support groups, lots of grief support groups, listened to lots of podcasts, watched loads of YouTube videos. I literally immersed myself in grief, and that became sort of my identity for the first year, I would say. Like everything I did was about grief, and it brought me a lot of comfort. It made me feel very like seen, because I didn't know anyone. I was being understood by people who were going through similar things. So the grief support groups really help. It just became my life, really. And then I thought, you know what, it's time for me to go back into work and to have a bit of structure in my life, because I was waking up just really depressed, very just so sad. But not sad, it was more like just empty. I think the main feeling that I've been feeling these last 2 years is emptiness and loneliness. So I got a temporary job in a clothing store, which was very local to me, which was really great. Acting with people, and it was kind of like a distraction from my reality. So I did that for a few months, and then they closed the store. So then that job finished. I just didn't feel like myself. Like there's been a void that nothing's been helping. Nothing's been able to fill the void, and actually being in the same environment that my mum was in. But I feel like she's still here, and her sort of everything is as it was. So I think that's also something that was like weighing down on me. So I slowly started to like, you know, get rid of things and like organize things away. A lot of the things are still here. And I feel like the grief has been really, like, I feel like it's been stuck inside my body and hasn't been let out, because I feel so tense. So it just feels really heavy. Waiting, I was thinking like, when am I gonna start, like, as I imagine grief would be very sort of, you cry a lot, you're very sad, you're very like, it just, but then you move on. Like you release it, and then it's like you're healed, but that's not what it really is like. Everybody experiences grief differently, so it's very individual. So what works for one person might not work for another person. And for me, it's been very sort of, it's not happened at once. For me, it's been really like, it's come in bits. So it comes at the most random times when I least expect it. And I think it's a way of my body to protect itself. And it's strange because it's like I cry for a bit and then 5 minutes later and I'm fine, I'm back to doing whatever I was doing. And I was very confused at the beginning. Like I was like, how can I be fine after like crying, having a mental breakdown like 2 minutes ago, and being completely fine. So I still have moments, especially like during big days like anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas is like the worst one. Just like family holidays, like just not having that family element anymore, especially because my grandma also passed away the same year in 2023 in December, when I was going to visit her for Christmas. So it was a really hard year for me, 2023. Yeah, it's been really difficult to manage both of the losses, because it feels like one, losing my mum was bad enough, but now I have to even grieve my grandma as well. So it's an extra added layer to already what I'm grieving. Yeah, I have nightmares. I had nightmares for a while, especially at the beginning when my mom died. Like all I could dream about was just the moment that she died. All the positive memories that I have are sort of tainted by the fact that they've died. So it's now all become really sad. And I don't want that to be the future. Like to think that all my good memories I had with both my mom and grandma are now going to be sad. So it's a process. I'm still healing. I'm still learning every day. I miss them very much all the time. I think about them all the time. I hope I can make them proud. Just coping, taking one day at a time has been like the best strategy for me. It's just like the most traumatic thing has happened to me that's changed my life overnight, and I just don't know what I'm doing. It's really hard if somebody hasn't been through this experience to really understand what you're going through. Yeah, last year I went on medication, which has been a lifesaver for me. Like I don't think I could have gotten through the year without my antidepressants. I would say the grief support groups and the antidepressants have been like the biggest things that have helped me. I think like I've gotten used to my life now, but it doesn't mean that it hurts any less. Like I would get triggered sometimes. I would see parents or families together, mums, with their daughters. It makes me sad. I feel more settled. I think I can think about the future a bit more without feeling like I'm leaving them behind, because that's also another thing. Like as time goes on, the further away you get from the loss, so you feel like you're just not forgetting, but you feel like it's becoming like a distant memory. So at the beginning I just wanted to be like stuck in that time and to just stay there. I will always take them with me, without I can live my life and have them with me, whatever I do. I hope this has helped you and that you understand a bit more about my grief and what I've been going through. And if you have any thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you soon for the next video.